Hi everyone. Welcome to my bathroom yet again. I just love working in my bathroom. I am here. So this week I'm kind of focusing on masking and just the benefits of masking. And so I just wanted to come to you doing one of my favorite masks. I am going to just go over the benefits of my charcoal mask that I use and why I am applying it. I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit. But I had been using my charcoal mask I'm gonna use the camera to apply it, but I had been using the charcoal mask really just when my face was acting up, being bad for my acne, and that was really the only time that I would use it. And I had just recently gone to one of my wonderful trainings here, and I had learned a few more things about it, and I am now going to start using it a couple times a week. And it just, it's things that I knew, but I was like, oh, it doesn't really apply to me, because I really just want to use it for when my face breaks out, because that's when my pores are getting clogged and dirty, and it's just bleh, that's when I want to use it. And so I was like, yeah, that's just what I'm going to use it. But some of these things that I found out while I was there, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about things like that. And so I was just like, I'm going to start using it more often. Some of the things that I was just blown away by was just the fact that not only does this mask clean your pores, get deep down in, kind of acts like a suction to get rid of, blackheads and acne issues. But it's not only just doing that, it's also getting rid of environmental pollutants that gets deep down into your skin. And I had not thought about that. Like, I knew that it went deep down into your skin and got out things like that, but I just never really thought about how deep down and how much it can really affect things like that. And so, a couple stories that they had told, a couple sister consultants of mine had done some of these masks with some customers, and the stories, that's what sold me. And they had said, a couple of these stories, they had said that, one consultant, she was fairly new, and she had done a party with some of her friends, and she sat down and she went through the whole wash your face portion of it. And sorry, I have to get a little closer. I'm just trying to see what I'm doing here. But she washed her face. They all washed their face, and then they got to the portion where they're applying the mask, and she said that they started applying the mask, and as the mask dries, that's when it starts pulling everything out of your skin, and it starts to get like a light gray. And as the mask was starting to apply, some of the women were starting to complain about the smell. Typically the smell is like a nice aroma of rosemary and mint. Like, I love the smell of it. That's like my favorite thing about it. And so they started complaining about the smell. And so she's asking, like, what does it smell like? It's supposed to smell like rosemary and mint. And one lady's like, oh, it smells like a swampy nastiness. And she's like, oh, well, that's weird. And another lady's like, oh, it smells like melting plastic or melting tires or something like that. And the consultant was like asking them questions, and come to find out, one lady was an environmentalist, and she worked in a marsh. And so it's pulling those toxins from where she is at every day. So it's pulling those environmental toxins that she's working at every day. And the other lady, she worked in a tire factory, and so it's pulling those toxins out of her skin of where she works at every day. It's pulling those tire residues from whatever toxins it is that she works at in that plant. And so I thought that was like really neat, because I'm like, oh, you know, like the environmental things that you are around every single day, it's getting into your skin, and just normal cleansing, it gets some of those out, but it's not getting everything out on a daily basis. And so working with this a couple times a week, it definitely gets everything out. And another story that I saw floating around, one consultant had a customer who was using this on a regular basis, and a month into using this, she was like, she told her consultant, she's like, this stuff seriously is a miracle worker. She's like, I have been using this consistently a couple times a week. And she's like, last week I used it. I went to wash it off my face, and you'll never believe what I washed off. And she's like, what did you wash off? She's like, it pulled a piece of glass out of my skin. And the consultant was like lost, and she's like, why would it pull a piece of glass out of your skin? She's like, I was in a car accident 14 years ago, and there was a piece of glass embedded in my face, and nobody could get it out. This mask literally pulled it out of my face. And that is just I mean, that's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, nobody thought something like this could do something like that. So at that point, I was just like dumbfounded, and I'm like, okay, this is so at that point I was like completely sold on it, and I'm like, you know what, if I want my skin to look good all the time and not just worry about it when I get acne, I mean, when I was doing it when I would get acne, I mean, it would clear my acne up within like a couple days, which is great. But the truth of the matter is, it's like, well, if I don't want acne at all, why not just do it a couple times a week? And then I would consistently not have acne, and then bam, no problems at all the time. So those are just a couple like fun stories that I just learned that I thought maybe I'd pass on to everybody else. So this is just one of my favorite masks that I'm going to talk about this week. I want to talk about a few others, and I'll show you about those and how to use them and kind of the benefits of those. But this one is definitely my favorite. So not only is it deep cleansing your skin, cleaning out those pores, it definitely helps with long-term use of making your pores look smaller, just because it's cleaning them out, getting that dirt, debris, your environmental contaminants out of your skin. So just those type of benefits. I'm going to add a little picture of just a little description of it, of other things that it can do too. So you apply it, you can apply it to your basic areas, or I like to apply it all to my face because I do get acne breakouts on the outer edge and my full forehead too, and my chin, my nose. I get them kind of all over my face. I'm not just the typical T-zone area, unfortunately. I get blackheads on my chin and my nose, and then I get just full-fledged zits on the outer edges of my face. So I apply it everywhere. That's my preference. Some people just apply it to their chin, nose, and forehead. So really, a lot of people do like multi-masking, where they use like a moisturizing mask on their cheeks, because that's where they tend to get a little bit drier. But I like to use this, and then on the other days where I'm not using this one, I'll use the moisturizing mask to help with my moisturizing, because I do get very dry, especially with winter coming up, but we'll cover that on a different day. I do use a masking applicator just because it does help you use less mask, so then you can conserve the bottle of mask, and just helps it last longer. You don't have to, you can just use your fingers. So it's completely personal preference. But all you do, you apply the mask, you let it sit for 10 to 20 minutes. With this mask, all you do is you let it apply. Once it's like a dark, it starts out dark gray, charcoaly, and then once it gets light gray, that's when you know that it's done, and you can touch it and it's dry. It hardens, so it gets hard to talk and gets hard to smile. And once it's the light gray, you'll start to notice little patches or little dots, and that's where it's like suctioning out your your little areas that you know that's where your trouble areas are. And once that is happening, you know that you're done and you can wash it off. This is not one of those I'm going to peel your face off, peel your skin off type of masks, which is wonderful because I would not be using it if that was the case. We want you to keep your face on. So this is just a simple, you put it on and you wash your face off or wash it off, and it just comes right off. So very easy to use. I love this mask. Like I said, it smells wonderful when you first apply it. Mine never smells different than the rosemary mint. So I've never had any issues with it smelling different, but just with those stories that I've recently heard. So if you do work in an environment that is a little stinky, then maybe it might smell a little different once it starts to dry because it's pulling out those toxins out of your skin, which is a good thing. So getting that stuff out is a good thing. But like I said, at this point, you just let it dry on your face for 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how long it takes to dry. If you do apply it with a brush, it does typically dry a little bit quicker just because you are applying a little bit thinner layer of it. When I was applying it with my fingers, it was a little bit thicker, so it would take a little bit longer to dry, but now that I'm applying it with an actual masking brush, it does dry pretty quickly. So at this point, I'm just gonna sit and wait, let it dry, and afterwards, I just apply all the rest of my serums and moisturizer at the end after my serums, and then I'm ready for bed. Maybe I should mention, before you apply the mask, you do wash your face. Take off your eye makeup and wash your face, and then you can apply the mask. And then you just finish up with, if you do any serums, and your moisturizer last. So, but super easy to do. I do it a couple times a week. Twice is what I'm going to start doing it. And then if I do another mask or two during the week as well, just a moisturizing mask. But we'll talk about those at a later time this week. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to wash it off, and then I'm going to finish getting ready for bed. I'm starting to get a little hard, so it's going to get harder to talk. So I am going to sign out for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. If you have any questions on anything that I did use in this video, you can comment below. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys soon. Have a great day, my friends. Bye. Or great evening. Bye.